Connecting to the real nerds is so easy. You can go to our website, realnerdspodcast.com. You can like us on Facebook. We have a Twitter account at Real Nerds. We also have Instagram. You can call us 720-6nerds5. You want to email us? You can do that too, realnerds@gmail.com. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
Do you remember where you were when we elected a Sasquatch president?
How about when you learned Ben Franklin was a robot?
Or first heard Stalin's mixtape?
I'm Zach Powers.
I'm Brian Flynn, and we host The Revisionists.
Each episode, one person explains real history and another tells an alternate version.
And the winner becomes the truth. We let comics from Denver and around the country run wild through history.
It's an in-depth look at history, but with more Babadooks.
Check out The Revisionists, available every other Saturday.
Wherever you get podcasts and at revisionistpodcast.com.
Hi, my name is Paul Caroli, and I host a podcast called Changing Denver. It's a monthly show about our city's physical spaces, how we make them, and how they make us. But it's so much more than that. It's the conversations, ideas, and stories that define Denver's perpetual state of flux. Find more from our team at changingdenver.com and join the conversation on Twitter at changingdenver. Denver's changing. We can help.
Hi, this is Jonathan Tiersten from The Perfect House and Sleepaway Camp, and you are listening to the Real Nerds Podcast.
Welcome to Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast at Denver Comic Con 2018 and beyond. I'm Ryan.
Brad.
And
Henry.
And
Zach.
And every week on Real Nerds Podcast, we go see a new movie and podcast our experience of the world. Except this week, we have a mystery grab bag, as some would say. And we all have not shared what movie we have seen this week, except for Zach, because he spoiled it online. Yeah. And actually, if you went to my Letterboxd account, you could see mine too. And so we're going to reveal those at the end of the show, so stay tuned, and we'll see what one wins out. Probably mine.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I got to go, guys.
All right. See ya. Oh, wait. I got to go, too. I'm going to come back a little later.
Yeah, I'll periodically jump back in. And
I'll just be in this opening. And I don't give a shit about the news. I don't give a shit about the Blu-ray releases. So you won't hear from me until after that.
Sounds good. I don't want to hear what you watched this week, so I'm going to skip on that one too.
Fuck you too, Brad.
Yeah, but I'll be back for what's important is these mystery reviews.
Mom and Dad fight.
I can't wait till Brad Bot's here for Brad.
Where is that robot? He's late.
As always.
All right, I'll check back with you guys in a few minutes.
All right, so I'm going to come back because Brad left finally. And so before we start into what we've been watching, guys, I have some duplicates of movies that I'll soon be upgrading. Does anybody want They Call Me Bruce?
What is it?
So it's like this... Brad, you can choose anything.
Brad, what are you doing here?
I am looking for movies.
So They Call Me Bruce is because he's an Asian guy who looks like Bruce Lee. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like in the vein of Airplane. I don't know how to describe this movie. It's just, it's funny.
Okay.
And he thinks it's Chinese flour, but it's actually cocaine. So he fights drug lords in it.
Yeah.
And everyone thinks he knows karate, but he doesn't know karate because he's Asian. It's funny.
I think that should be something for white coats for you, buddy.
So I have the Blu-ray of this, believe it or not, is coming out from Kino Lorber.
Okay.
So I have that on order. So if one of you wants, They Call Me Bruce.
Okay, sure.
All right. Zach, I did promise you the Resident Evil collection, if you still want it. On Blu-ray.
Yeah, sure, why not?
This is your homework for the week. You have to watch all of them before. Well, you have 2 weeks. You have 2 weeks to watch all of them.
I gotta tell you, he's been building this up long enough. I'm actually interested in this. If I like these enough, I'll go get the final chapter.
Okay, so here's the deal with those movies. The first one is actually pretty good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The second one, the director makes some weird choices.
Yeah.
Like the zombies are always shot in...
It's not Paul W.S. Anderson?
No, they're shot up. They're shot faster, but then slowed down, so it's that blurry kind of stuff. The third one is actually the best one, I think.
Is that Extinction?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the fourth one is nonsense. The fifth one's nonsense.
So That's the fourth one is Afterlife.
It's the Steelbook.
Okay, yeah.
My Steelbook collection is weird. It's True Grit and Resident Evil Afterlife.
Well, I bought all of them on Steelbook. So when the final chapter came out, if you bought them all, it was like $80 for all of them.
So it was worth the duplicate.
Well, and so that's what I did.
Oh,
and they're done by the pop art stuff, just like the Underworld thing. So it looks really good.
Nice. Well, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I also have a Blockbuster video pre-released of Love Actually. That's Henry's. I have the DVD copy of Basketball.
I would take that, but I pre-ordered my copy of Blu-ray.
Basketball. And so this one's I don't know. This is Zach.
Yeah.
Sorry. Zach asked for the Spider-Man trilogy on Blu-ray. And I don't know if you talked about it in news, but I got mad this week. So I got the limited edition steelbooks from Best Buy.
Best Buy, right.
And so they're mastered in 4K. I'm like, oh, I guess that's good enough. And so I got them. And then I was reading the press release for Spider-Man Homecoming on Blu-ray. And they're releasing all of the Spider-Man movies now in 4K in Blu-ray, 4K Ultra HD. So
was there like a moment where an embolism was just going to pop in your fucking brain?
Kind of, because I probably have bought Spider-Man, different versions of it many times.
It seems like this happens twice a year.
Yeah. So, because the bummer is they did do tons of behind the scenes stuff with the Spider-Man movies. So Spider-Man, I think it's 3, has a great making of documentary where it's basically just a camera following Sam Raimi around set, and it's pretty interesting. And then they'll intercut it with him talking about it, and he said, when they get this big, because I think that movie cost $275 million in 2007.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he was saying that he would just take a golf cart to different sets and see his 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th unit directors and say, hey, this scene you got to shoot the Green Goblin coming over the corner there and fighting. And then he'd take the golf cart and go to another set. And if you listen to the commentary on it, it's really funny because it's Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire, and then Avi Arad on it. But here's the funny part is those 3 are recorded separately. Oh. And every time Sam would say something he didn't agree with, for some reason he's like cut off, and the producer comes back on. And the original, there's a huge thing of the original Spider-Man 3 is he just wanted New Goblin and the Vulture in it. And then he revised the script, and it was going to be New Goblin, Vulture, and Sandman. And he really liked the idea of the Sandman playing a part in Uncle Ben's death, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the studio says, no, you got to put Venom in this. And he said, but what, I can't, what do you want me to, how do you want me to shoehorn this guy in?
Yeah.
And oddly enough, they were like, and you're going to use this unknown guy named Tom Hardy.
Yes. So it's really interesting. So I'm probably going to buying it again, and my wife's going to be mad at me because I told her it was the last time I was going to upgrade it. But now I'm going to have to upgrade it again.
I just imagine, like, I don't know, there's like so many different scenarios in my head of just like you exploding beyond fury when you read that news.
Yeah, it's just annoying because I just don't know. That's the one thing I don't like what studios do.
Yeah.
Is I don't know why they say, okay, this limited edition for the Steelbook's coming out, but we also have Ultra HD ones in the pipes. They did with Lord of the Rings. You knew you could wait to get the extended editions and like better versions of the movies. Same with The Hobbit. They didn't try to pull the wool over everybody. Like, say, if you want it, the theatrical version.
Like, if you really want to see it today.
Exactly. You can get it, but just know that we have extended editions coming out with everything on it. And I appreciate that way more.
I have a theory on it with Spider-Man, more so than other stuff. So, how much did Homecoming end up making in the long run?
It's over 320 right now, I think, or somewhere around there.
Worldwide, or
well, the worldwide they haven't released it in China, Japan.
Okay, so it's still,
and so I'm guessing it might make over $1 billion. It might,
but
it'll be pushing it if it gets to $1 billion.
I feel like Sony understands that they've rebooted this so often that they have to hedge their bets. So maybe they're double dipping as much as they can. Like they're throwing it at all angles. I don't think they're meaning it to be dicks. This is just they realize they need to really cover all ground.
Yeah, I don't mind. And here's the thing: is if it includes the Ultra HD version of Spider-Man Homecoming, then it will take some of the sting away from me.
Right.
Because I'm going to buy Homecoming anyways on Ultra HD.
Right.
So that's good. I mean, that's $35 anyways.
Yeah.
So if they include it and I'm going to pay $100 for all of them, then I don't care as much.
Right, but if it didn't include it, then it would be...
Oh, yeah, then I would be furious.
Yeah.
But the new box art's awesome. It's like Spidey, and he's on the front, and there's like Doc Ock and the Green Goblin, and I think probably Venom, I think's up in the corner. But I mean, it looks great.
Yeah.
But still. And it's going to be a 12-disc set, so I'm guessing it's going to have all the regular Blu-rays with it, too.
Nice.
$740. That's how much it's made so far.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so I think it'll be pushing $1 million. I don't know. For some reason, Spidey's pretty big in America.
Yeah.
And he's really well known around the world. But he doesn't push the billions very often.
Yeah.
I mean, 890, I think, is Spider-Man 3, and it made the most.
Oh, I can look that up, too.
Yeah, and then followed by probably Amazing
I think it's Amazing 2.
Yeah, Amazing 2, yeah.
Or maybe it's Amazing 1 and then Amazing 2. I think they all made like 800 million.
Yeah.
Which I always laugh when people say, well, Sony's disappointed with the outcome of the grosses for Amazing Spider-Man. Like, $800 million?
So, in terms of worldwide unadjusted, Spider-Man 3 is the highest grossing at just short of 900.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 1, 821. Spider-Man 2, 783. Amazing Spider-Man, 750. Homecoming, and then Amazing Spider-Man 2 at 700.
Yeah, so, I mean, they still make $700 million.
No, yeah, I mean...
Isn't that crazy when you're like, I'm really disappointed in that? It's such a different...
Yeah, it's a different world.
Different world when, we were with the Film Explosion 87, and I think Overboard was the third or fourth highest grossing film, and it made $52 million.
Yeah.
That would not even be in the top 100 now.
No, yeah.
This phenomenon wasn't, like, really necessarily a thing up until maybe about, like... the moment the superhero movies started becoming what they are, in like I want to say like 2000 is when you start seeing a weekly basis of 100 to 200 million.
Because 2002
million.
Spider-Man was the first movie to gross over $100 million.
Well, so that's the beginning of it.
So yeah, 114.
And then it moves, but then it keeps going on like that, where every summer you see like somebody breaking like between 50 and 100.
Well, yeah, now it's. I think now studios look at the first week more.
Yeah.
It's like, how much money can we make right away instead of the longevity? Where something like Wonder Woman, I think just broke the record for most consecutive days of $1 million or so.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah.
And it's 38. And so it's grossed over $400 million kind of quietly.
Yeah.
I mean, people know it's done well, but it's quietly grossed a lot of money.
It's like that's like the same boat. Not like, I mean, Wonder Woman more so, but like in the same boat as like My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Oh, absolutely.
Which like it was never number 1, but it made a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
It was consistently in the top 5.
Oh, yeah, I agree. So I wasn't here for news. What did you guys talk about in news?
It's real news.
The only thing that I think you and I are probably going to want to discuss a little bit is that Tobe Hooper died. And I gave kind of a brief eulogy, but I didn't go into like what he meant to me as a filmmaker.
We talked primarily about how great Life Force was.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I love
watching.
I love Life Force.
I love watching naked alien women walk around for 2 hours.
I like Life Force. If you listen to Film Explosion 86, it's on my list. Or was it 85?
85.
85?
Yeah.
It's just a different movie, and it's really goofy. Tobe Hooper, to me, is the guy who brought the gritty filmmaking to mainstream. The first Chainsaw Massacre, everybody remembers the gore, but there's really not much gore
There is
in
no
it.
gore.
It's suggestive.
In fact, like I was actually reading this, and like it reaffirms what we were talking about on last year's Halloween Film Explosion. The majority of that film was trimmed to get a PG rating, but the implication of what was happening is what got it its RX or whatever you want to call it.
And I just I haven't heard that word yet. I love horror films that are rated R, not for the gore, but for the terror.
The implication, if you will. Yeah.
And Sinister is a perfect example of it, where Sinister doesn't really have too much.
It has like 2 scenes.
Two scenes like that, are pretty gruesome, but other than that, it's just scary.
Yeah.
And I love films that do that. And I think Tobe Hooper brought in to the genre, much like George Romero, where George Romero gave birth to the independent film that can be shot like a documentary and people will believe it's real, much like War of the Worlds on the radio. Romero did that with a black and white film, and he did it on purpose. When he was shooting it, he said, "You know what? I'm going to make this like a documentary, and people are going to see it. They'll know it's a movie, but I want that rawness to it."
It's that mindset.
Exactly. And if you know anything about Night of the Living Dead, the TV reporters were real TV reporters. The cops were real cops, and it gives it to this real feel. And I think Tobe Hooper,
he said, "I'm going to get real cannibals."
yeah, well, no, he's like, I'm gonna shoot a film that's dirty, that's not well lit. I'm going to make a certain style of film, and people are going to be unsettled by it because they're not used to this kind of staging in films. Where in that time in '74, a lot of the films and earlier, it still kind of seemed like a play where it's elaborately staged. It's elaborately staged, and this one felt a little more gritty, a little more real, even though it's dealing with the cannibals and things like that. But it's the term you've used, which is utilized, which is raw. Yeah, and it's unrelenting. One thing is like there's a lot of, they pick up the hitchhiker, it doesn't stop. Yeah, and there's a lot of within that. There's a lot of kinetic energy. Even when it does slow down, it doesn't let you linger there that long. No, and I think that's a benefit to it. And to his brilliance is he took the same concept and made a comedy with the second one. It's the same thing, but he realized that if he took it over the top just a little more, shot it a little more clean, lit a little differently, it'd be funny. Yeah, he was experimenting with it a little bit, I guess you'd call it. And he's a fun filmmaker. It's a bummer he didn't do more. It's it's interesting you say that because when I was doing the general eulogy, so he worked up until 2013. It's just that we weren't seeing much of it because it wasn't getting released to the mass public. Well, I mean, the Dijon was his last one, which was like a supernatural film, but it was made for the United Arab Emiratis. Yeah, and it's something I didn't hear about. Are you sure it's not the Jinn? The Jinn, yeah, I think it's Jinn. Yeah, okay, but I don't know how to pronounce things, guys. I'm stupid American. No, sorry, no. So Jinn is like an evil. It's a magician guy. It's basically in Middle Eastern culture, it's the same thing as a genie. Yeah, it's like a genie. Okay, evil. Cool. If you watch the Wishmaster collection, you would know. Oh, cool. Then I'll definitely be checking this out because I don't mind Wishmaster. No, but he did other stuff. It's interesting. Actually, there's one that I brought up when I did my Facebook post. Is he did something called the Funhouse. Yeah, which is it's a crazy film. It's all over the place. Pick it up on Screen Factory. I know, and I saw that on the listings. Collector's edition. It's only $17. Yeah, so I was I'm getting Screen Factory collector's editions are worth it. They are. I'll talk about it later. And then there's also the Eaten Alive movie. I didn't watch that until you recommended it to me because I didn't realize that was Tobe. And watching it, I was like, this is. I'm getting the mixture of what he's doing. But, obviously the biggest thing that we now have to contend with is, so now that Toby's dead, does he keep with him the secret of who really directed Poltergeist? I think that was more of a team effort, but a lot of people like to... I think... I know this from what I've heard from J.J. Abrams, and if you ever watched the behind the scenes of Super 8... Spielberg, when he's on set, helps direct, and I have a feeling that's what happened on Poltergeist. Is because Toby's in it for sure. There's parts in it that I can point to. Yeah, that's his style. But I think Spielberg's a little easier. Is more successful at directing children. Yeah. More successful at directing the moments, I call them, where me and James talk about all the time in Jaws. Yeah, the shark stuff's great, but the moment where Brody and his son are imitating each other is classic Spielberg, and maybe one of the greatest scenes in the movie. And I think that's where Spielberg probably came in and helped. It seems to me like there's a lot of those directors who Spielberg produced a ton of films in the 80s for. And it very feels to me where that was very much a mentor kind of situation where I'm sure there were parts where he overstepped in quotation marks for producing, but it's also he was doing that to help the project, and so I think he wrote an open apology to Toby on Hollywood and posted in the Hollywood Reporter back during the movie's release, because I guess there was an LA Times article where Steven kind of went over his bounds in terms of bragging. Is in his own words. So again, like I say, I think it's a team effort, but it sucks that Toby didn't get to do much more outside of the 70s and 80s and maybe early 90s. I like Body Bags a lot. There's he directed the No More Mr. Nice Guy episode of Freddy's Nightmares, which is a classic. It's Freddy's origins. Yeah. So, and then Toolbox Murders. Actually, I think that's a pretty effective little thriller. Yeah.
And but yeah,
The remake.
And I didn't see his Masters of Horror though. I haven't seen
They're
that.
good.
Yeah, so
Masters of Horror is fun. Do you have Xfinity? I think you
No.
can, I think you can stream them on Xfinity right now.
I'm sure I can find a way to get them on Amazon.
Well, I mean,
eventually.
you can get the DVDs for pretty cheap.
Yeah, there you go. Just pop a little bit.
They're
in there.
great, like the John Landis Deer Girl.
I've heard the Cigarette Burns one by John Carpenter is pretty cool.
It's all right. My favorite is actually the Don Coscarelli one. It's called An Incident on and Off a Mountain Road. It's pretty great.
Nice. But yeah, so 74, he will be missed.
Yep.
He also, fun fact, directed the Dancing with Myself music video.
Oh, by Billy Idol.
Yeah.
So I think this episode should start off with Dancing with My Chainsaw.
Did you guys talk about how much of a badass Tom Cruise is?
What did Tom do his time?
I did forgot to mention that.
So he was doing a stunt for Mission Impossible 6.
I heard he injured himself.
Yeah, he broke his ankle, finished the take, and then collapsed off screen.
It's like the equivalent of, like, well, not the equivalent, but it's like when, like, Teddy Roosevelt got shot and then continued his speech.
Just gonna go.
There's a playlist.com does like fake movie posters of current movies it done in the 30s style. They did a Hangover one, and like they got like Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis, and stuff like that in there. But there's the baby in the Carlos baby, and it says, and introducing a young Tom Cruise baby as Carlos. I was like, that is the most random thing. I want a screenshot of it.
And I think, is Doug Liman doing the new Mission Impossible?
I think so, yeah.
I think so. Because I read an interview with him on The Hollywood Reporter, the director. I'm pretty sure it's Doug Liman.
I'll look it up.
And he said, people are worried about, or it might be Christopher McQuarrie. I can't remember. But
It sounds like it's McQuarrie because I thought Lyman was doing.
he did American Made. Maybe it is McQuarrie.
Well, Lyman's also doing Live, Die, Repeater.
No, that's in development. I don't know. He might be Tom Cruise's go-to.
Christopher McQuarrie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So McQuarrie was going, and he collapsed off set, and they said, well, it's going to halt production. And he actually said something pretty interesting. He said that now he has an opportunity to go back and edit it and see if he needs to change any scenes. And he says, if Tom doesn't have to walk, he'll act in scenes. I mean, it's fucking Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
So
It's not even a Tom Cruise thing. It's like you break your ankle, you could probably still do a sitting down scene.
Oh, you could. I mean, he's not going to be able to do any action or anything for a while.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because there is like a good amount of like dialogue in those films too.
Yeah.
Like they make it, they're good action films. But like you could just put a brace on his leg, stand him up, and then just shoot from like chest up.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, I'm sure Tom Cruise probably heals faster than everybody else. So
yeah, he is a mutant like god.
I know.
Do we have that like leg brace technology from Dark Knight Rises where it just suddenly magically fixes his
Civil War.
ancient leg?
But no, it's pretty. I mean, that's pretty hardcore, though. I mean, of all the stuff he's done, he broke his ankle like jumping to a building.
Oh, yeah.
He got a little hurt doing that, hanging on the side of an airplane.
I mean, it's also like you were hanging outside of an airplane. Like.
So he's a risk taker, and
Dubai airplane, and it took a jump over a tiny building.
I don't know.
It's the small things that get you.
McQuarrie said he's probably going to use that scene though because how real it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would too.
Yeah.
I think.
So it's pretty interesting.
His new film's getting amazing. I
can't wait to see it.
I'm so excited.
I can't wait.
I'm really mad that it's out everywhere else in the world except America.
I know.
American Made's already out?
Yeah, it's out in the UK and all of Europe.
That sucks.
But we have 29th, I think, is when it comes out here, September. But I can't wait because every time I see a preview for it, they talk about, this movie looks sweet. Yeah. Did you talk about Porky Pig 101?
Oh, no. So we did not talk about that in DVD releases and Blu-rays. So you probably should explain this because I might jumble it again and detour into like, hey, remember the 40s.
No, it's so... Warner Brothers Archive is, if you don't know what Warner Brothers Archive is an imprint of Blu-rays and DVDs that they do, but they do them on demand. So if you want something from them, like I just got Joe versus the Volcano, I order it through Amazon, but it takes usually an extra day because it has to be made.
Right.
And so they basically make it for you and send it to you.
Right. I got my Yankee Doodle Dandy that way.
Yeah. And what's cool about them is that they still put new features on them, but it's they're if you want a physical copy, they're testing the demand. So on September 19th, they're releasing a 5-disc DVD set of Porky Pig's first 101 cartoons, which Warner Brothers has never done before.
No, they haven't. And to clear up the history a little bit, they've released their cartoons before, but the golden collections, as they've been known, and now the
Platinums are the Blu-rays.
Yeah, so
no, they put them on DVD too, I think.
Whatever it is, Spotlight was the smaller one.
That's right.
The Spotlight Golden, and then the Platinum is the Blu-ray. Anyway, they were releasing they were kind of like programming to get the most popular cartoons in there.
Yeah, so
unlike Disney Treasures, which Disney Treasures was pretty thorough in giving you
well, they're chronologically on Disney.
Chronological and also pretty much all they had.
Yeah.
Like I can't think of one that they really withheld in the treasure collection.
The treasures are interesting though, and again, this is just me being an old fogey, but so the treasures is each one is about 25 cartoons,
right?
And they're beautiful sets. So
I think there's 50 on each one of them. Maybe I'll check it. We'll check them.
So. But they put them in chronological order, except for the ones they thought were really offensive.
Oh, the Disney one. Okay,
yeah, the Disney one.
Yeah.
So on the Disney one, then they'd say a special feature called "It from the Vault," and you'd have to go there and listen to Leonard Maltin talk before each cartoon on
like,
why.
now remember, guys, it's not okay to say the N-word.
Well, I don't think that was ever in it, but
he loves saying the N-word, so he would discourage that.
So you'd have to dig for them. The platinum ones, like I have the first platinum on Blu-ray because it was like $15 at Best Buy a few months ago
for Looney Tunes. Yeah,
for Looney Tunes, and so like one disc is the complete Witch Hazel, and one disc is like Daffy Duck and Porky Pig teaming up. So it's just a grab bag, and one's like Marvin the Martian. This one is they're taking his first 101 appearances, which I know some of them have never been released. Times in decades,
yeah,
or on TV or on DVD.
Like the last time you would have seen them was if you were 80 years ago in the theater, right before any Warner Brother feature.
Yeah, I'm really interested because his early stuff is kind of funny.
Yeah,
it branches into he starts teaming up with Daffy about halfway through.
Yeah.
But anyways, so this is a plea. September 19th it comes out. Pre-order it and order this so they start making more of them. And people are going to moan that it's not on Blu-ray. But the point is they're putting it out.
See, and this is the thing, like, I don't think that's a bad thing on this one. So, like, and I have a reason for this. Because I thought about it. So the Blu-ray that you've got for the Platinum, how many would you say of the cartoons in there are black and white?
I don't even know. Maybe maybe not. Maybe none. Maybe a handful.
Okay, so, like, the black and white ones, those very old ones, it's really hard to do much more to restore those ones because I got to assume.
Yeah, and again, it's
unlike Casablanca, which is like it's a different story. Like,
yeah, they don't need to be. I think digitally restored is fine. They don't need to be scrubbed. They don't need to be cleaned. I wanted to see Porky Pig being goofy.
Yeah,
because I love Porky Pig.
I love him doing the come my children, and you should all hear the midnight ride of Paul Reed here.
I remember when I was young, I used to love the one where he's a bullfighter and he's selling tamales.
Sounds right.
Hot tamales. Get them while they're hot. I love Porky Pig because I guess the Porky Pig is kind of their Mickey Mouse. He's like the everyday kind of guy.
Because they had Bosco the talking kid, and that's a strange creation.
Yeah. So if you have $47, that's not a lot of money for 5 discs and 101 cartoons. You should totally get it because I want them to do a Daffy Duck one, and I like Bugs Bunny. But, he always gets the spotlight. That they did a Porky Pig one, and Porky Pig used to be their most famous cartoon. He's the most popular.
Yeah.
But now he's kind of, it's Bugs Bunny. And
it's really hard to market Porky Pig right now. They pointed out back in action when they say, like, first they told me to lose the stutter. Now they tell me I'm not funny. Yeah. It's a pain in the butt being politically correct. And it shows Speedy Gonzalez going, "You're telling me."
Exactly. So, I would just love for them, and it's hard because Ted Turner owns it, and he's really weird about stuff, and so you should buy it. I want to see a Daffy the Duck collection because Daffy's early stuff is pretty great.
Remind me to come back to Ted Turner really quickly about my favorite Daffy cartoon with Porky is it's called Porky and Daffy, but it's. They're going to be Daffy's a boxer, and he's in the ring, and he's acting like he's running away from the other fighter, and Porky goes, "Daffy, get on your bicycle," and then Daffy just gets on an invisible bicycle, and he's like riding the bicycle, and then gets on his head on what would be the invisible seat, and starts like pedaling with his feet wrapped around, and he goes, "I'm so crazy, I don't know this isn't possible."
So that's just my plea is just go out and get it.
Yeah, because you're right. Ted Turner's a little weird about his stuff.
Because remember, he wasn't going to put out Speedy Gonzalez because he thought it was offensive, and then Mexican people are like, you should put him out because everybody likes him in Mexico.
Yeah,
and he said, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. if you remember that Family Guy gag with Ted Turner, like I think we've reached a point where I can finally announce my new project. I colorized the moon.
Yeah, so he's weird about stuff.
Yeah. So check it out.
I'm just waiting for more Hanna-Barbera cartoons to come out on any kind of.
Well, yeah, actually, it's funny you say that. They're putting out 60 anniversaries of them, and I picked up the old first season of the Flintstones at Target for $10, like the complete first season. And it's DVD, but the packaging's really cool.
No, I mean, like, because they had, like, the DVD stuff for that. Like, you can get, like, some where it's, like, but you will not, like, they don't have, like, complete series or anything. They'll be like, here's, like, the 6 episodes that everyone likes or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like, I mean,
I agree.
I want my complete season of Jabberjaw. Like,
I think it's...
No respect.
I'm hoping now with The Simpsons finally releasing season 18, that people realize there is a demand for this stuff and that they'll actually put it out. You know, that I have to sit there and endure, 4 different releases of Avatar, but I don't have True Lies on Blu-ray. Is really a bummer.
I think there's a weird period that we've been dealing with where the digital trend is surging so much forward, but now they're kind of like taking some steps back.
Well, because people are learning. Just so people are up in arms because Netflix is losing Disney because Disney is starting its own streaming service. I said, eventually you're not going to have that stuff. That's why they want you to hit streaming, because all they have to do is keep some server somewhere running, and then you access it
until the lights go out, guys. That's why you want physical copies.
And it's just stuff. And it's funny. I had this friend who had Comcast, and she switched. She didn't realize she didn't keep the movies she bought from Comcast. I said, because it's on their stuff. That's why I don't like buying digital stuff.
Yeah. It's like, cause like I have like a pretty large like iTunes collection of stuff, and I've like been tempted to go to Google stuff or whatever, but I know like I'm going to lose like hundreds of dollars of like movies. And so
it's tough. I mean, I understand the convenience of having digital things, but I'm not a fan. And I'll talk about it in what we've been watching. But in streaming too, you don't get the best picture. You don't get the best audio. You get compressed versions of everything. So it's even like, ooh, it's mastered in 4K for iTunes. It's not.
It's also like, even if it was, almost no computer screen could handle showing it in 4K anyway. So like,
it's just a bummer.
Yep.
All right, cool. Now I've ranted. I'm good.
We padded out a chunk here. I think we're good.
All right, Brad, this is what we've been watching. What have you been watching?
So, this is the stuff we've been watching.
Well, I forgot to say last week that I watched Spawn.
Oh, I did too.
Really?
Yeah, on Netflix.
Awesome. Well, it's good. I forgot last week because we can talk about it now. Ryan always said it wasn't great, but wow, that is a dumpster fire.
It's pretty awful
of a movie. And I'm sorry to say that to all the people I'm sure
Spawn fans or whatever.
I don't care about the fans on that one, but like when you work on a movie, you're like, this is our craft. We're trying to make the best thing possible. And I'm sure back in the 90s they were given nothing to work with. But I think that story and script and like special effects are so bad. 90s.
It's gone. I mean, it might just be that it's aged so poorly as well too. Because like when I was watching it, like I watched it like last week on Netflix, and it was just like, this is like joke level of what edginess is.
Yeah, like what edgy was in the 90s.
Yeah, like it's now like a self parody of itself in a way.
Yeah.
So
I've never seen Spawn before. So now I've got like. So I've had Ryan tell me not to see it. And
it's a movie that should be on How This Get Made.
No,
really?
That would be a great episode. I think like they would like it too much.
It's so nonsensical. Like he's a mercenary at like an air traffic control tower. Like he has a mission. And then he gets punished by, or he gets what's his name? Martin Sheen's in it.
Yeah, like there's so many people who are in this film. I'm like, okay, one, you're all more talented than this.
Yeah.
And they're all giving awful performances. Like, Martin Sheen's like a mustache-twirling villain.
Oh, so much. And then, so he puts a hit out on Michael Jai White, who's Spawn, becomes Spawn. And then there's the insane clown, John Leguizamo, who I think he's an agent of the devil.
Like, because that came out, I was like,
orchestrating everything.
Because that was, cause, like, when they introduced his character, was right after, like, a serious, like, grounded realism of like a board meeting scene with Martin Sheen, and then this fucking demon clown comes out. Like a member of the Insane Clowns posse.
And then what else? Then there's like the other mercenary woman who It's all over the place.
No, like at some point, like it's like I stopped trying to understand it.
Yeah.
Like I was like,
and Spawn has a daughter and a wife, and then when he becomes Spawn, I guess a ton of time passed.
Yeah.
While he was being turned into a demon, and then his buddy, like bodyguard, marries his wife and takes custody of their kid, and then he's all pissed about that, and then like his cape is full on super CGI'd.
yeah.
It was just I don't think I even finished it really.
Oh, I finished it, but I think I
got through most
stopped
of it.
paying attention to it. So
Yeah.
Sorry, excuse me.
So yeah, that was Spawn. I finally watched Spawn. Ryan, you've seen Spawn.
Yeah, are we already recording?
We're doing everything out of order. I gotta go.
Yeah, Spawn's awful.
You always told me it was awful, and I never.
You didn't believe me?
Well, I didn't think it was as bad as what I saw. And Henry watched it too. And
yeah, we both watched it this week.
I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah. Speaking of bad movies, I also watched Sky Captain: The World of Tomorrow.
I don't
I
know
think
if
that movie's
it's
pretty
that
fun.
bad.
Oh, it's no.
No?
It's Rocketeer adorable.
I'm sure James would like defend it.
At least Rocketeer was filmed like in an actual location.
Yeah.
Sky Captain is everything's on a green screen and it doesn't
It's
hold
an
up.
interesting 8th grade project.
And it's the weirdest, silliest story.
It's based off.
It seems like a tech demo for a video game.
You gotta understand pulp novels.
Just because something's based on a pulp novel doesn't mean it was executed well.
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
Let's see.
It looks cool, too.
I watched apparently there's like a whole dump of Tom Hanks 80s movies on Netflix right now, so I watched
Yeah.
The Money Pit.
Some of the ones I don't like very much of his.
Yeah.
What's like his earlier stuff is like
Yeah.
kind of
But I like Bachelor Party.
That's not on there.
the good ones.
awesome.
It's the ones that no one cares about, like The Man with the Red Shoe. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's his
Turner and
first
Hooch.
I think
starring
it's his
movie.
first movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Turner and Hooch isn't bad.
Yeah. I did.
Turner's pretty good. I like that one.
But yeah, The Money Pit is basically they move into a house. It sucks. They have to find a way to fix it up, and then towards the end, there's a little plot of Shelley Long thinks she cheated on him with her ex-husband, who's like the asshole orchestra conductor, but he made it up just to like screw with her. But it almost ruins her relationship with Tom Hanks, and it's a little like mean to make her the whore of the story. Like only the woman could cheat, of course, but they make up and the house gets fixed. And
Because Tom Hanks is adorable.
let's see. And then the last two things I saw were awesome. Has anyone seen Victoria?
Oh, the
2.5 hour single take movie?
oh
German
yeah,
film?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think yeah.
Like the first half hour is kind of like, okay, it's I can see that.
No, yeah.
It's not too hard to do. People just hanging out in a single take.
Yeah.
But then there's a heist at the end.
No, I mean, like the entire like everything, like it's the fact that like it's not even like edited to look like a single take. It's like legit one take,
Yeah.
like through the night.
Hitchcock did that.
But it's
For
just
2.5 hours?
Never know.
I didn't even think it was 2.5 hours. Like when I was talking to someone else later, they said, "Oh yeah, the 2.5 hour one." I thought it seemed like an hour to me.
30s, but I mean,
Orson Welles did there.
But I mean, like my thing is that it's like, I think you'd only appreciate if you're like really into filmmaking, like we
Yeah.
are. I think like if you're just like someone who's just like, oh, I like films, you don't need to see it. So I think like you get the gist of it, like
Yeah.
after 30 minutes.
What's impressive about the movie is the acting.
No, yeah.
And the take. Like the story's not great, and the characters aren't terribly compelling. I mean, there's a part where she plays that piano piece,
Yeah.
like in one take, and
You can read about like the making of it online. It's really because they did it like in 3 takes. Well, like, they had like a shit ton of rehearsals, obviously, but like
Yeah.
they did it in 3. They did it one because they can only afford, I think, 3 takes.
Right.
And so they did like one take that they were like, cool, that was great, but let's do like another one. They did the second take, and it was just awful across the board. And they're like, well, we lost the project, and then they like applied for more funding, got the third take, and the third take's the one that's like the actual film.
nice, yeah. But as it built and built and built, I'm like, okay, like how I get that you're doing a hangout scene because that's all you can really do. But they secure like a hotel
Yeah.
and like police on set, and then like squibs and gunplay, and you're just like, and the acting's great.
No, yeah, like, and I think it's like one of those. It's like
Touche
how-
movie.
Yeah, like it just
Way
it's
to show me.
fascinating- Yeah, like
So yeah, definitely check it out if you want to be impressed by how movies are made. And then the last thing I saw was I Am Not a Serial Killer.
Oh yeah.
And Christopher Lloyd's amazing in it.
I remember I read that book like years ago, and I was super excited when the movie came out.
Yeah.
It's just I saw the movie when it was like a theater, so I don't really remember it all that well. But like
the kid, he's sort of diagnosed as a sociopath.
Yeah.
And he has thoughts of killing people, but he has a set of rules that keep him. He says
like,
keeps him from
he
doing
understands
it.
that like this is who he is, so he like sets up rules to make sure he doesn't become what people think he will become, essentially.
But meanwhile, he's interested in serial killers. So once there's this demon, and there's a guy killing people in town, and so he's very curious about like the killer keeps taking a different organ from the bodies each time, and so he kind of starts to investigate on his own. And once he finds out who does it, he doesn't just stop them. He tries to get inside the mind of like why, and then it leads to this like kind of sort of creature-esque resolution. So I don't want to spoil it, but and along the way he's trying to figure out like is he just maybe just too insensitive to people, or is he actually a sociopath? And that's what he's trying to like uncover about himself as he investigates. Like, you know, maybe he's not really interested in killing people. He also works. His mom is a mortician.
And so he knows a lot about just from being there.
So like he's exposed to dead bodies all the time. So I think that has influenced his interest in the macabre. And then he has a fractured family. Like his sister isn't around, or there's some kind of friction between her and his mom. And then their dad's absent. So it's and Christopher Lloyd.
No, he's amazing in it.
Yeah, like it's not funny, Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
The only thing I think it sucks is the thing at the end is a little CGI-y.
Yeah, and it's interesting because like the book is a lot more subtle about that, because the book this is the first. I imagine they wanted this, but the book's it's a trilogy series, and I imagine they wanted to do the 2 sequels. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it or not, but the 2 sequels are really where it gets really interesting with that kind of idea, and so
yeah. So yeah, that's what I watched. This
cool.
Wow, that was lame, Brad.
Brad, your pictures you chose are so stupid. Get the fuck out of here. We don't want to hear from you until you review your movie of the week.
Why'd you call them pictures, old man?
Back in my day, they didn't even talk. It's just music. See? Have you guys done what you've been watching?
No,
we didn't.
Okay.
No.
Henry, what'd you watch this week?
Oh shit!
I know I have like 2 weeks worth of shit too.
Listen, Bart.
All right. Well, what I'm currently doing right now is I'm trying to watch all the Best Picture winners. So I'm just going through from most recent to oldest. So this morning, I watched West Side Story for the first time.
Did you feel pretty? Oh, so pretty?
It's one of those musicals that everyone says you're supposed to like, and I go, meh.
Well, it's also like, because I've been watching a lot of musicals recently because I'm in that era of Best Picture winners where everything was a musical. And it just like
that's not a lie.
And like honestly, of that one, like that one's probably like it's definitely not the worst musical to win Best Picture, but it's certainly like the music. Honestly, I don't think some of them are all that great of singers. To be frank, I think it's a cool story, but I think like at the end of the day, like some of the singing could have been more defined. So.
Okay.
I watched Death Note, which also won Best Picture.
I saw your review of that on Letterboxd. Seems like you were pretty impressed.
Yeah. Death Note, I mean, have either of you like watched the original?
No. I know the character design because it's so iconic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the actual anime is actually pretty good. I'm not like a huge anime guy, but the actual one is actually pretty well done. This one wasn't. This one was pretty awful. And I've
heard some people say
I love Adam Weingart.
No, it's like because like his past 2 films haven't been all that great, but I still loved The Guest and Your Next so much that I'm just like,
what did he do after your The Guest?
Blair Witch.
Blair Witch. That's right.
Yeah.
So, but
yeah, I mean, Death Note. It's very disappointing. It's also, I think, the problem is that he adapted it not knowing what made it good. Like he changed so much about it that it took away all of the interesting parts of Death Note.
I have a friend of mine who said that he actually, because he didn't know anything about Death Note going in, he ended up enjoying it.
Well, I mean, I
don't know. Maybe it's one of those.
And I can't say that that's not true just because like I'm so ingrained that I've seen the show.
Yeah.
But like it's also just very poorly done. And Nat Wolff is one of the worst fucking actors on the goddamn planet.
I mean, Nat Wolff, star of Leap with Elle Fanning?
My fucking god. I'm ready for him to not be in movies anymore. Okay. Anyway,
I don't know who Nat Wolff is. I don't care.
Yeah, he's a fucking fuckboy. I saw Logan Lucky, which I was kind of disappointed by. It just wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. It looks very digital. And And so it's very well written, and the acting is all great.
I think it's pretty well directed.
Well, it feels almost incomplete. Like, it feels like it's edited. There's no flow. It's just like, here's a scene, here's a scene, here's a scene in order of how the film's supposed to go.
Oh.
And there's not, and I think the editing is pretty atrocious. But anyway, Sound of Music, I was disappointed by.
What?
I mean, it's not like it was bad.
Nuns fight Nazis, Henry.
I just like
You have to deceive them by singing.
I just watched and I was like, okay, it's just another musical, and
But they fight Nazis in it.
And it has Julie Andrews in it.
no, I mean it's fine. It just didn't connect with me. That's not important. I saw Rough Night, which is the worst comedy of the year.
Poor ScarJo.
She hates being called that.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I
So
read
now
an
I'm
interview
gonna-
with her. Now you're on her list.
That's fine.
Guess
Okay.
who's never working with Scarlett Johansson now?
I didn't expect to get on that list either, so I'm glad to be on one of the lists.
I watched A Man for All Seasons, which is interesting. It's a Best Picture winner.
It's a very good film.
It's one that everyone forgets. Like, no one knows exists.
Yeah, I, mean, I think it's a play. I think, and I think
so,
that
too.
people know the play more than they do the film.
But I mean, I don't know. It's not one I'm going to recommend because it's not the Best Picture winner, but it's fine.
It's a weird trivia.
I'm okay with watching it. So
weird trivia. That's one of Kevin Smith's top 10 favorite films.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I rewatched The Avengers,
Nice.
which like from
Wait. Sean Connery's The Avengers.
fuck off. But like, I mean, I don't know. I watched it and it was like, I remembered how amazing it was to see that film in theaters, like on opening night, like midnight release.
Bunch of guys
Just-
screaming, "Oh my god!"
And it's like just how exciting that was, and how like I don't know. I just feel like I just haven't felt that way about like a Marvel film since then. I like a lot of Marvel films, but like I haven't felt that excited about like a Marvel film since the Avengers, and so it was a very happy while also melancholic kind of feeling.
It's a loaded screening.
I watched Oliver, the musical. I only say that because there's an exclamation point at the end.
Apostrophe.
Yeah. Well, it's
Apostropher.
What that one I really liked that one, and I hate kids, but like the kid who plays Oliver is adorable, and so it's fine. I watched Take Me, which is a new Netflix original film. It's a dark comedy, and it's kind of, I don't know how I feel about it, but if you're into dark comedies, I would check it out. I watched Batman and Harley Quinn, the new animated film.
You weren't impressed with that either.
I really wasn't.
I follow you on Letterboxd. That's how I know.
It's just, I don't know. I feel like I wasn't impressed with really any of it, and it was overtly sexual and weird in ways that I just wasn't a fan of. It also made Dick Grayson an idiot in the film, which I'm not a fan of either. So, and then is there anything else on here that's really interesting? No, not really. Spawn, we already talked about.
Spawn.
And
so I wasn't here when you were talking about Spawn. So did the editing in it make any sense to you?
No, because we both were saying like towards the like we both finished the film, but we stopped watching the film after like 30 minutes.
Yeah, because there's that part where he's talking, like he goes into training for like 5 minutes. What the hell is that?
And it's just, it's like we said, like it's also like it's aged so poorly that it's now a stereotype of like 90s edgy culture. And so,
yeah.
But I watched Risk, which is good, but it's also, he's just so unlikable that it's hard to really go along with it. It's a documentary on Julian Assange. Amadeus I loved. In terms of Endearment I loved.
Amadeus is great.
Amadeus is great.
Amadeus is really good.
And one of my favorite jokes in Last Action Hero is from that, where so the bad guy in Amadeus is the bad guy in Last Action Hero.
Oh, really?
And he says, "Danny told me not to trust you. You killed Mozart. Mo who? Zot." I love that movie. That needs to be on Shout Select. I say that every week. I'm going to start tweeting him every week. Like, you guys need to put this on Shout Select.
In terms of Endearment I loved. I thought that was really heartbreaking and heartwarming at the same time.
Jim Brooks movie. It's a good movie.
Godfather Part 2 and Part 1 I watched the first time.
I still think they're overrated, but, you know.
I think they're good. I mean, I wasn't like... It wasn't. I didn't walk away going like, "This is the greatest film ever made." But
I guess
that should have been on the poster back in the 70s.
I guess my biggest problem sometimes with movies like that, much with the same with Citizen Kane, not that I think they're great movies, not that they're not great
I think
movies.
we're both going in the same direction. Yeah,
but people are like, "Oh, it changed my life. Blah, blah, I have to like this movie." And to me, and I say this all the time. To me, the most important aspect of a movie is being entertained.
Yeah.
And The Godfather 2 is what, 3.5 hours?
They're both like around 3. Like I think the first one's 2 hours, the second one's 3.5.
Yeah.
So
And you're just like, oh my god, we get it.
it's
Their
like
mom.
I described it to like someone as like both of them feel like an entire season of a like mob show.
Exactly. And again, the acting's great. Obviously shot incredibly well.
They're very, very well done films.
Yeah.
It's just that in terms of connection, I think these films in Citizen Kane have the same problem where they broke the ground for other films to lay the ground over.
Exactly.
And that's not to say they're bad. It's like they're so revolutionary that we don't realize it.
Yeah, anymore. And I was never a big fan of them. And it's the same thing. I saw it a while ago, and I must have forgot to bring it up. But it's the same thing with like Moonlight this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think Moonlight's a good movie, but to me, I don't think it's the best movie that I saw last year.
No,
and it seems like its hype kind of hurt it.
Yeah, and I do think that for a lot of people, that is what happened. And I've been saying on the podcast ever since it came out that Moonlight is one of those films that if you did not have an LGBT experience, if you did not grow up that way, it won't affect you the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, and it's a film that you don't get. We're talking about Moonlight now, which is not something I watched. So anyway,
it's okay. We have a podcast. We can talk as long as we want.
That's true. Is there anything else that I watched that's interesting that I thought I can talk about? Dunkirk, I was kind of disappointed by. I don't know. Very, very well shot. That's about it.
Zach?
I watched a couple things this week. I rewatched Casablanca because I was bored one night after work. Still a really good movie. Third best movie ever made for me, at least. I love it. Bogart's awesome in it. I watched it on Blu-ray on my HD TV down here that you guys can see, and I liked watching it in that format because I usually watch it like either on the computer or like I haven't watched it within an HD spectrum, and like I love how crisp and clean they got that print to look.
Black and white actually lends itself really well to Blu-ray. I found.
Oh,
if you have
very much so.
The right TV and the right Blu-ray player, the black levels look amazing.
Yeah, and so like this in particular just looks fantastic. So I would, like if you haven't seen Casablanca and you want to see some Nazi punching, go right ahead, man.
If you haven't seen Casablanca and you're listening to this podcast, stop this podcast and
watch Casablanca. Why the fuck are you listening to me?
Yeah, we talked so long about Spawn.
Yes.
That instead.
Bogart is spitting in his grave, guys.
I like the part where she gets on the plane.
Yeah. See, that movie, though, too, is one of those movies where you could say it falls in the Godfather, Citizen Kane thing.
But it is entertaining.
But I still think it's way more...
It helps that the film is like an hour and 40 minutes.
It is, but
this is the first time I watched Casablanca. Oh yeah, I was like, this is the first time I watched Casablanca, where it didn't feel like the epic that's always been in my head. Where it actually felt like it's a pretty tight film.
Oh yeah,
like when you look at it straight. But I've seen this movie so many times, like from the moment I was 10 to the present, and those past years, it always felt like a much longer film. This time around, it was a breeze. I rewatched the Raiders of the Lost Ark because it was on Amazon Prime, and I'm like, wow, that's cool. So I'm going to probably watch one of the Indiana Jones films a week to all the way up to Crystal Skull because you said I should try to rewatch it. I haven't seen it since theaters.
I think people's revisionist history drives me crazy when they tell me Spider-Man 3 is one of the worst movies ever. I mean, it's really not.
Yeah. But Raiders of the Lost Ark, really fun movie.
Oh, man, it's amazing.
I was focused more on Paul. He plays Belloc, but I can't remember the actor's name. I think it's Paul Freeman or something like that.
I don't remember.
Anyway, but I just like he's a really good villain. Like
he's great.
I was just like I wasn't like. I never really paid attention to him much when I watched Indiana Jones movies when I was younger because I was like, well, it's about Harrison Ford throwing a whip and punching people and shooting people and whatnot. But like, no, he's a great villain. He's really awesome, man. I totally dug it. Obviously, I love the whole face melting sequence. It's awesome. The whole shooting the guy with the sword, awesome. Great film. And then my favorite line in the movie, which is, it's being examined by top men. Who? Top men. So that was fun.
Before I start, I just looked up to confirm. Casablanca is the 5th shortest film to ever win Best Picture.
Really? 5th shortest?
Yep, 5th shortest.
What would be the shortest?
Marty.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Marty's a good film too.
Yep.
I got into the doc kick again, like I usually do, but it wasn't like that bad. So I watched American Experience, the new season. They did a documentary series on World War I, so it was 3 episodes at 2 hours apiece. And I think my reason for watching it was because Wonder Woman was so awesome this year. I was just like, I really don't know much about World War I. Let's watch this. And dude, like, I always thought World War II was a very interesting period in our history. World War I was just as interesting, if probably not more.
I think the thing about World War I is that it's a lot less sexy. It's a much more depressing war.
Yeah, I agree.
Not to say the Holocaust wasn't depressing or anything, but
no, I get what you mean. It's dirty, it's in trenches.
It's almost there's almost not an enemy in a way. Whereas everyone's World War II is great because there's the Nazis, and it's they're the biggest villains in everything. So
but the what's interesting you'd bring up about that. So World War I, much like World War II. It's called a world war for a reason, and this series mainly focuses on America's involvement. It mainly deals with isolationism, which we probably should have learned our lesson to not be an isolationist nation after this war, but no, we didn't. That's why the Japanese were able to attack us back then. But say, hey, whatever, we all learn our lessons. But it was a very interesting series. Sadly, I didn't see any cameos of Snoopy fighting the Red Baron or Wonder Woman going into No Man's Land. Just saying, guys, I can make American Experience documentaries cool again. Did you read my Facebook post where I was just the narrator should be it's called No Man's Land, and it's called No Man's Land for a reason. And then it just shows a picture of Wonder Woman, and then it says American Experience presents Wonder Woman, fact or fiction. So, that was fun. I also watched Magician, the Orson Welles documentary. And I've talked about it before, but I watched it again mainly to see some footage from. I guess Netflix is reviving one of his films, one of his uncompleted films.
Yeah, I think I heard about that.
They're trying to reamp it or something. I'm not exactly sure of the story, but it seems fascinating. I'm totally gonna check it out, but it was nice to hear some more information about Wells I didn't know. The last thing that I saw this week though was so it was an American Experience documentary again, but this one was pretty interesting. It's called The Mine Wars, and it's about the attempt to get union membership by West Virginia miners in the early 1910s up to about the 1930s, and when it starts off like any kind of labor dispute to a degree, like how it progresses. But I forgot, as I usually do, these things turned very violent. Yep. There were shootings in the middle of the goddamn town. People died.
Did they send the army down?
They sent the National Guard. Yeah. The Baldwin Belts detective agencies were hired by the the mine owners to keep their employees in line. That's another thing. They were living in corporate owned towns. The company owned the town. You were paid in company Disney dollars, I would call them.
Yeah.
And so you couldn't get, and if you tried to trade it in for real money, you'd get a fraction of what it is worth as a Disney dollar.
Yep.
And but they hired outside security, and then eventually, to scare them from joining the union, they didn't, they barely used it, but they'd put a machine gun up in the searchlight, and they just leave it there. And then people would just know, hey, don't fuck with us or we'll use that thing. Mm-hmm. It's crazy, man. It maybe there's another doc that is on that series about the Flint, or not. I don't know if it's Flint or Detroit. One of the Michigan cities and the auto workers union. So I would like to check that out. But anyway, that's all I watched this week. A little plethora of everything.
Well, I got to catch up for it. Last week I was supposed to be here, but work got in the way, and it sucked. I'll catch
That's
up
what
on
happens when you put a knife on a bandit.
Yeah, well, that's what happens. I got to write that report sometime.
Yeah.
I finally got my Basketball on Blu-ray after my ordeal with Best Buy and throwing a fit. The movie's still
They were
funny.
like, just give the big baby.
Yeah, a movie that is a lesser known one that's put on Blu-ray. Like, it looks pretty good on Blu-ray, but you can tell it's like, we'll up convert it a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like a one you say, hey guys, check out Basketball on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
This is what Blu-ray was made for.
He started showing on the TVs at Best Buy.
Yeah,
Like,
what do they call that? It's not a show movie, but I mean, it still looked good. I mean, it cleaned up a lot of like the scratches and stuff like that. But I mean, it's infinitely quotable. I think it's what makes it really funny is you get a taste of it. They have Spotlight on location, like this really short EPK on it. But Matt Stone and Trey Parker said, yeah, this movie was stupid, and they asked us to do it, so we decided we're going to do it because we didn't want to not say no to anything. And there's a really funny interview with him later where the reason at this time South Park movie, South Park, Basketball, they all kind of came out in like the 3-year period was because they said we didn't know when it wasn't going to end, it was going to end, so we just started saying yes to everything.
Yeah.
And the movie's funny. It's stupid, but it's really funny.
It's a Zucker Brother film.
Yeah, it's fun. I watched 4K version of Logan, and holy shit!
Yeah.
I've watched a few movies on 4K, and I mean, one was Resident Evil Final Chapter, maybe not the right movie to watch on it because it's a darker movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, it looks better, but I'm not like, oh wow.
Yeah.
But there's some parts in Logan that I went, oh wow, because it looks so lifelike, and
And then Keanu Reeves came to your house, and you were like, whoa.
and it's so lifelike that it's kind of distracting too, because it looks like Hugh Jackman is in your living room. For
it's
real.
too natural.
Yeah, I mean, but in a really cool way.
Yeah. Not in a weird Hobbit way.
Yeah, exactly. I do liken it to watching The Hobbit, where you still have to train your eyes.
Yeah, you have to get used to it. Like,
Yeah, after you watch the movie for about an hour, you're like, oh, I get it. But if you get up and, like, let's say, get like a water and come back, you go, oh, got to get back into this. But Logan's still one of my favorite movies of the year. It's still amazing. I mean, it's so amazing. I put it as my number 3 movie of the top 10 years or 6 years.
Yeah.
And it's still really great. And then the Logan Noir is also in 4K.
Oh, yeah.
And oh god, again, it's. I don't think it's actually a better version of the movie.
No, yeah.
But it lends itself really well to black and white.
It's like James Mangold said, like in the Q&A, there's like there's something that I wanted to see what it would be like.
Yeah.
Like, this, one or the other is not the definitive version.
Yeah.
There's just two different types of.
Yeah. Again, if you're someone to say, hey, I want to see like how cool it looks in black and white, it plays really well.
Yeah. If you're looking for more like stuff that's apparently really good on 4K, I've heard The Martian is supposed to be like one of the best films on 4K.
It wouldn't surprise me because I'll get to something else later on 4K.
Oh.
So I also watched Friday the 13th Part 3 because it celebrated its 35th anniversary on the 13th.
In 3D.
What I did find very interesting, and when I was reading, it's like, is this really the only Friday the 13th that came out on Friday the 13th? And it is the only Friday the 13th that has come out on a Friday the 13th.
That feels like a mismanaged like marketing team. Like,
It really
not
does.
thinking about it.
Freddy vs. Jason came out on the 15th of August.
Okay.
And I understand that. I mean,
Yeah.
you try to make a summer movie, and
It's also like that one you could say 13th with the whole Wednesday thing.
Yeah,
and so.
yeah, exactly. And so I was really surprised. And the third one is not the best, but it's still pretty fun. You know, when you listen to the director on the commentary or read about it in Crystal Lake Memories or see the documentary about it, it's because it was so hard to set up the 3D back then that they couldn't spend as much time with the actors and because it's a cheap movie. So it's like, well, we got to get this done in 25 days because we don't have any money. A bit interesting fact about Friday the 13th is none of them were made under the studio, the originals. They're all negative pickups.
Wow.
So, yeah, Paramount said, yeah, we'll give you the money to make it, but it doesn't mean we're going to buy it.
Yeah.
So there's a huge thing that Paramount was really embarrassed by Friday the 13th, but they kept on making them because they cost $2 million and they make $20 million.
Yeah,
So that's a way to get you in the black really fast.
They really need to do that today.
Yeah.
Like it's honestly shocking that because I think with Friday the 13th and like Nightmare on Elm Street and all those different films that are like major franchises, they don't think they can do that.
I know it's
But, like,
and I think that Blumhouse and James Wan, they're proving that you can make cheaper movies and make lots of money.
yeah.
But
Especially
again,
with horror, like-
yeah, it's because there's always an audience for it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they need to get like some like a guy like the Lights Out guy to come in and do a Friday the 13th for cheap.
yeah,
And just
I don't know why. You can read the script that they were going to shoot. It's really interesting. Where's that script? You can get it online.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting take
Go
on
to
Friday the 13th.
ParamountPictures.com, hack in the code.
So, I mean, they're hoping that next year, because Paramount loses the rights to Friday the 13th again, goes back to New Line, that they'll make it. But I'm also hoping, what was really cool when I saw, I can't say it. When I saw my movie this week, is all the previews beforehand were horror films. And one is called Happy Death Day.
Yeah.
And it's Blumhouse's new one. And it's basically Groundhog Day, but a horror film, and it's a slasher. So I'm hoping that it'll revitalize, as long as it's not PG-13. That's the only thing Blumhouse is usually pretty good about that.
Yeah.
We'll see. So I'm hoping slashers will become popular again.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to see Friday the 13th.
no, yeah. I mean,
But I don't know. I'm just going through my Twitter feed because I put the movies I watch on there so I don't forget. The director of Skull Island did What's Everything Wrong with Cinema?
Oh, that was a
CinemaSins.
great article.
It was, because James wrote it about 4 years ago. Basically the same thing, so it's pretty funny seeing that happen again. So a few weeks we were doing the podcast, and Teen Wolf and Teen Wolf 2 came out on Scream Factory Collector's Editions. I said, I don't know if I want to get it. And then I was like, all right, we were doing it, I ordered them.
Yeah.
And again, the movies are harmless. They're not great.
they're like good fluff films.
Yeah, so the first one is obviously a superior one. I mean, but barely.
Yeah.
Maybe just because Michael J. Fox is in it, and it's a little more fun. What's great about the Scream Factory version, though, besides they cleaned up the negative a lot, so it looks really good, but there's a 2-hour and 45-minute documentary on it.
What?
Yeah, about Teen Wolf.
Just the first one?
Just the first one.
Wow.
So it's interesting hearing the guys talk about it, and I didn't know the writer of it is actually a really famous comic writer named Jeff Loeb, and he's oversees Marvel TV now. But before that, he obviously must have written Hollywood and then transitioned to comics. But he wrote stuff like Spider-Man Blue, Daredevil Yellow, the Batman Long Halloween kind of themed books. He's really good, and he's interviewed in it. And those guys, at the beginning, is funny. He had a writing partner, and they wrote like 3 or 4 scripts, and his partner went in and he came back and he said, "Hey man, we sold a script." He's like, "Oh, which one is it?" You know, like they're hyper. He's like, "No, Teen Wolf." He's like, "Teen Wolf." So it's pretty funny, and it was actually shot, I think, in '84.
Yeah,
and they were going to release it in like February or March, but then they found out Back to the Future was coming out, and they released it 2 weeks after Back to the Future. So Michael J. Fox had the
like
number 1 and 2 movies for all summer long.
Wow.
That man was so lucky.
Yeah, well,
the key word is was. That was a terrible joke.
That was a terrible joke. Teen Wolf 2 is Jason Bateman, and it's not like a bad movie. It's just not good.
It was Teen Wolf too.
Yeah. So he plays his cousin, who's... It's basically the same movie and hits the same beats, except he's boxing. Yeah, it's basically the only difference. Yeah,
I've not seen it.
It's the only difference. I'll let you borrow the Scream Factory version. Again, just like The Howling 2, which is a total garbage movie, they still put, I think, 7 new interviews with people who were involved in the movie in it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's still pretty good. Zach, you all right?
Yeah, I'm getting over a cold.
All right. Getting back to 4K, I watched Alien Covenant.
I've heard that's 4K. Also really...
It's, oh my gosh. And actually, I enjoyed the movie a lot more. I actually had the similar viewing experience with Godzilla. Like, I really liked Godzilla when I saw it, but watching it again, it made it better. I think it's because I took away the hype of, oh, here's a new Alien movie. And I got a bit more into Michael Fassbender's characters. And the subtleties he played with each one is pretty great.
No, he's an amazing actor. So
he's one of my favorites. And so the movie, I think, played a lot better the second time I saw it. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to watch it again because Ridley Scott has a commentary on it.
It's also just a gorgeous looking film.
Oh yeah, it looks so amazing on 4K.
It's just like, and when I was watching it, I have my issues with it or whatever, but the fact that this film is even released, a gory, violent, but super high budget sci-fi film.
Oh yeah,
that's just astonishing that can even happen.
I was watching it and I I remembered a little bit, and as my little boy was running around, like, he's not going to pay attention to this. And then they get to the medical bay where that dude has like the back burster, I call it, and my kid just stops and starts staring at it. I was like, okay, time to stop.
Yeah.
Before he starts spitting up blood. And, the movie's a lot better second time I watched it. Again, it's shot beautifully. I think there's some great shots in it. One of my favorite is when they're running towards the the construction loader, and the alien comes like running out and sits on top of the pyramid. I think that's amazing. Just a couple shots. I also got on Blu-ray For Love of the Game, which is the Kevin Costner pitching movie directed by Sam Raimi. And it's a fun movie. It's interesting watching because of all of Sam Raimi's stuff. It's probably the most fluffy, where it follows a lot of beats that you expect from a studio movie.
It was one of his earlier films too, wasn't it?
No, it's 92.
So, it's like
99. I'm sorry, it's 99.
So I guess it's one of his more early like studio films.
Yeah.
So it's him getting used to that kind of environment.
Yeah. So after he did that, his next movie was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I was just going back and reading about it. It cost like $80 million to make it. I said it was like 50 of it go to Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
And he's great in it, but
Sam, I love you, but give me that money.
Well, I'm sure like at that time, like that was also like right after like Dances with Wolves.
Oh, yeah.
And that was when he was huge.
Yeah.
Waterworld.
Well, he started hitting bad because Postman, and that movie didn't do that well, but it's an all right movie.
He was still a big enough star.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a great actor.
No, yeah.
But the movie's all right. It's I think of all of Sam Raimi's movies, it might be his weakest one. But not, and I love Sam Raimi, but he does do little Sam Raimi flourishes in it. John C. Reilly's in it. There's a lot of good actors, so they help elevate the material. Yeah. I still had fun watching it.
There's a scene where Kevin Costner is about to pitch the ball, and he says, "Groovy."
Yes.
And there's not that
I would
scene at
be
all.
happy. And the last thing I watch is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 on 4K.
Yeah.
And that movie's lots of fun, too.
That movie, like,
oh my God,
boggle your mind in 4K with all its glorious colors.
The Ravager, like, funeral scene, holy shit.
No, yeah.
You're like, whoa, this is what HDR means.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's, I mean...
Because, honestly, having the 4K TV and the UHD, everything doesn't look that much better, but there's certain moments in movies that are just... Like, okay.
Well, really, like that. As this becomes more and more popular, you're going to see cinematographers try harder.
Yeah, I think so
it's
too.
really like with this. That's when you start noticing a lot more.
Yeah,
and I think like you're going to see an influx of really good cinematographers soon.
I agree.
So
I agree, and we'll see. I was reading an interview with the guys from. I don't know who's putting out Dario Argento's. Suspiria. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think it might be Synapse.
It might be, and they said it's too expensive to produce. So that's why you only see major studios put them out.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually, I'm sure the technology will catch up.
No, I mean, it's like it's in the same boat that Blu-ray was like in 2008. And so,
yeah, I mean, I think eventually they'll get rid of DVDs completely.
No, yeah.
And then it'll just be, you can get the Ultra HD combo pack instead of the Blu-ray DVD combo pack. I think it'll start doing that. But again, I think Blu-ray is still. I mean, there's no way you're gonna get basketball to look better.
No, yeah, like
it's a $20 million comedy from the late '90s.
So wait, I just have this image of myself in my head. Like if I ever make $1 billion. Like I would needlessly spend it all on making a Ultra 4K version of basketball.
And that alone is why you will never be able to make $1 billion. Like,
well, I said too. If I never played Powerball, but if I won, $200-300 million, I would take $25 million and call whoever owns Friday the 13th and say, "Let me put all this money up for this movie."
No, yeah, like
and they'd be like, "Who's this?"
Give me a producer credit.
Yeah.
That's all I want, and I want points because this movie is going to make $80 million.
No, yeah, like
and they say, like, "Fine, we'll give you your points." Ha ha ha! He'll never be right.
Yeah, Paramount definitely would do that. And I'd say, okay, I want the points after it turns a profit, and I want the DVD and home video points. Mm-hmm. I'm giving you the $25 million.
No, I mean you're funding it all.
Yeah,
like,
I just want the character.
Yeah. Like,
and they're like, "Wilhelm, what did we do wrong? You made all that money."
I like how in your mind they're all 1930s rich people.
I'm pretty sure they are. Smoking cigars.
Well, like Paramount is because they were a classy studio. Down at Warner Brothers, just like get me James Cagney.
Yep, that's what I watched this week.
Awesome.
Henry, what's coming out on Blu-ray?
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
Well, I'll let you know. Baywatch is coming out on Blu-ray. Batman and Harley Quinn is coming out.
Cool. I bet there's a steelbook for that at Target.
Ooh, fun. Black Sails, that TV show that I think 5 people watched. It's a pirate one. Ronin with Robert De Niro. It's getting a release. Gotham season whatever is coming out. I think season 3?
3.
3, yeah. My Cousin Rachel, which I was not that big of a fan of, but maybe you want to see it. It's a romance film from the 1800s. Son of Paleface. Zach, do you know what that is?
It's a Bob Hope film from 1948, I think.
Cool.
But it's got Jane Russell in it, too, so if you're a fan of The Outlaw and her boobs, you'll love it.
Cool. Team America World Police, that's coming out.
Oh, it's about time.
Yeah.
I just picked up basketball this week.
Yeah, so, now you can pick up this one, too.
We'll have the entire Trey Parker, Matt Stone
movie
film
trilogy
on Blu-ray, because I think Orgasmo's on Blu-ray in some capacity.
Okay. Yeah, I guess baseball's not part of the trilogy. They're just in it.
Amsterdammed. I don't know what that is, but it's called Amsterdammed.
It's a play on words.
It is. It's a fun one.
Going to the red light district, going to the red lights of hell.
Prizzy's Honor, I've not seen.
Prizzy's Honor is a John Huston film with his daughter Angelica Huston, which won her a Best Supporting Actress nomination, or Oscar.
Fun.
You're into gangster movies? Check it out.
The Man with Two Brains, starring...
it's a funny Carl Reiner movie.
Steve Martin?
Yeah, Steve Martin, him.
Directed by Carl Reiner.
Yeah. And then, most importantly, what we're all pre-ordering, Flipper is coming out on Blu-ray. So
the Paul Hogan Flipper?
Yep, Paul Hogan Flipper. Season 1.
It's
it's a TV show from the 60s.
The TV show.
Oh, okay. I don't think it's the movie.
So yeah, if I know all of our Flipper fans out there have been clamoring for a Season 1 Blu-ray, now you can get it.
Yeah, that dolphin was magical, man.
Yeah.
And that's Blu-ray releases for this week.
Yeah, there's not a lot else, So Brad, tell me what's going on around town.
Well, this week at the drive-in, we've got a repeat. They've held over last week's lineup, so you can look forward to Dunkirk, Annabelle Creation, and The Dark Tower again.
Pretty
so,
good.
$8, 3 movies. Watch them under the stars. It's a great time.
Fun.
I
Awesome.
regretfully have not been there as much as I should have this summer.
Yeah.
So
Shame on you.
yeah, it's been a busy summer.
You know, that's no excuse, man.
It isn't. I'm ashamed.
I know.
I might just go blow my brains out in my car at the end of the episode.
Well, I mean, you could just go to
Out of
you
embarrassment.
could go there and then blow your brains out. It's not like
Oh,
So, you know.
while I'm at the drive-in, that's a good idea.
What's the last one? Annabelle Creation.
That's the last one's Dark Tower.
Oh, great!
well,
It's the perfect one
time.
to kill yourself at. So
But make sure it's like at the very end moment, and then you're just like, I now know what hell looks like, and then
I'll start out with Dunkirk being like, wow, survival is important. And
Yeah.
then I'll watch Annabelle Creation and
you'll be
Dark
like,
Tower. and be
man,
like,
hell doesn't sound that bad. And then you'll watch that and be like, time to go to hell. So
and then the Esquire is showing Creepshow this week, Friday, Saturday, at the Esquire Theater. I've never seen it, but Ryan says it's awesome. So
Yeah.
you should check it
Ryan,
out.
what do you think of that?
So this week on Real Nerds Podcast, all the movies sucked. You know, what I don't get, though, when you see, like, release schedules and you see such a dead area, why don't they put a movie there?
I know, right?
You know, instead of, like, jamming so many, like Baywatch
Yeah.
or a movie that can get lost in the summer, stick it here when it's going against, like, repeats.
This weekend would have been
Or
great
Leap.
for Logan Lucky to come out.
Yeah,
when there's
or
nothing.
last year, like, The Nice Guys.
When
you
did they
know?
announce that, like, McGregor fight? Because I don't know if, like, there's enough lead time that Hollywood's like, don't put a movie out that weekend because no one's going to go see it.
Probably 3 or 4 months. But you can always move a movie.
It's true.
I mean, because I think that happened last year. I think like
2
there was some
years
big
ago-
fight that like took away from some big opening.
Didn't football start this weekend, too?
2 years ago, it took away
Preseason.
from Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
Pacquiao Mayweather.
I think when you get to the start of football season, like, studios get antsy about, like, they
Yeah,
wanna
whatever.
compete.
Yeah.
So
Anyways, but you can. We'll start with Brad. Brad, what did you see this week?
Okay, so yeah, we all decided to just go our separate ways and see whatever the hell we wanted. So, you know, if any of us double up, that'll be our movie of the week, I guess. So
ain't
did
seen
anyone
much of the
see The Hitman's Bodyguard?
I did.
All right. So this week's episode might be The Hitman's Bodyguard. I wanted to see Brigsby Bear, but like by the time I realized I could have seen a movie, it was like 10 minutes after the last showing at the Esquire.
The only showing, you mean?
The only showing, yeah. There's one at the Alamo like in 2 weeks. I'll probably get to see it.
Yeah.
But anyway, The Hitman's Bodyguard.
Yeah.
My review is...
My review was... It's the most I laughed in a film this year, but that's very disappointing.
This is Michael Bryce. I'm an executive protection agent. I've extracted my client. Cleanup is required. You might want to call the bomb squad. Make it the fire department.
Is that my car?
I'm afraid so. Have a seat. It's been a long day.
The trial continues. One of the world's most brutal dictators.
With a key witness to testify.
I can assure you, we're more than prepared for any assault.
Prepared for that assault, motherfucker?
When Kincaid is dead, you'll be paid in full.
There's a safe house not far from here.
I have a job for you.
The transport is in there.
What the
27 times. That's how many times this asshole's tried to kill me. 27. 28! You won't last 1 hour without me.
You gonna be a little bitch about it?
Tell us where your husband is.
You lost my husband? That is your job, motherfucker! The only way Bryce and Kincaid don't make it is that they kill each other first.
If you wouldn't mind the gun.
Yo! You about done?
Okay, on 3. 1.
My bad. You're bad.
No, when life gives you shit, you make Kool-Aid.
Life doesn't usually give you shit and then turn into a beverage.
Yeah, so if you want to see a movie where, if you think every time Samuel L. Jackson says motherfucker is the most funniest thing you've ever heard, right? Then they made a movie out of it, and it's this one. Or if you can't wait for Deadpool 2, and you need your Ryan Reynolds quipping fix, this is it.
Does he show his dick in it like he did in Deadpool? No, I'm out.
He might have shown it in the 5 minutes I fell asleep. In the beginning.
There was a weird helicopter scene with his dick. So
he got caught in the helicopter.
No, where he just flew away.
Oh,
so
with it turned into propellers.
Yeah,
wow, that's amazing. Yeah. So the story is that Ryan Reynolds is a really good bodyguard.
Yeah.
So he's leading this one Asian businessman to his helicopter, and then a mysterious sniper takes that guy out, and he loses his AAA
and it becomes
bodyguard
actually
status.
like a Craigslist level bodyguard at that point. So
and
the
because
poster's funny.
It is a good parody of
someone on Letterboxd, their review was this film exists only to make that poster happen. So.
The poster is the funniest thing of the movie, I think. Gary Oldman's in this movie.
Yeah, that okay.
As the reincarnated corpse of the villain from Air Force One.
Yeah, and also
literally.
No.
Because now I want to see this movie.
He has a Russian accent again.
Well, it's also like he's like essentially the same character from Leon, the Professional too. Like
I haven't seen Leon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but it's like, but my issue with his character is that like this film is like all of the Sam Jackson and the Ryan Reynolds stuff is like just comedy, and then you get like there's a scene where a guy. You see that you watch this guy react to his wife and his child being murdered in front of him, and then there's another scene where someone
Frank
gets
Castle?
tortured. These are two scenes in a straight comedy film this year, and like all of the scenes that Gary Oldman's in, he has not
Frank Castle is the
humor
Punisher
in this at all, and so it's weird. Like it's jarring to go from like Samuel Jackson being like motherfucking this, and then just straight to him like slitting someone's throat, like no humor. It's brutal.
Like I feel like all those scenes are just in there to make the gravitas of their story. Like it can't just be a silly buddy comedy.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to add weight to it. So yeah,
which this film is this is not a film that was like, we need more weight to this picture. So
like, yeah, these characters need more depth. No. And then Samuel L. Jackson is the world's best hitman, and he has the dirt on Gary Oldman's character, so they're trying to transport him to testify in front of, I don't know, the UN?
Yeah. Oh, Interpol.
Interpol?
Yeah.
Which they make a lot of digs at Interpol being a bunch of fuck-ups.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know if that's a thing.
I mean, from what I understand, Interpol's supposed to be like the big, high-up cops. I don't know. You're a cop. You would know.
Well, they're international police is what it's short for.
Do they constantly screw up their job?
Has Interpol ever come to Idaho Springs to investigate?
They have not. I have not seen Interpol up there, but you never know.
But this movie makes you think that they are constantly terrible at their jobs. And there's a mole in Interpol.
Of course.
Of course.
Is it an actual mole, like a giant mole?
Actually, speaking of moles, it's actually the villain from season 3 of 24.
Is it really?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Which is notorious for moles in CTU. Yeah, and then Samuel L. Jackson. Well, anyway, Samuel L. Jackson. He still wants to testify, even though he can just walk away and like go into obscurity. But he's doing it so that his wife, Salma Hayek, who has an even dirtier mouth than him, surprisingly enough. She'll get released from prison if
she still
complies.
looks great. I think she's like 44 or something.
Yeah,
she looks great.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the rest of it's like 3 car chases in a row.
Yeah,
bombastic car chases, and then big firefight at the end. And Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson annoyed at each other constantly. So don't have to see it. It'll definitely be on TNT, like edited.
It's weird because like I was gonna say, like this is the perfect film to watch on TNT or TBS, but at the same time though, this is gonna be very heavily edited for those channels. So
and now this 30-minute presentation of the Hitman's Bodyguard.
It felt like 2.5 hours, and they probably take that hour and a half out.
No,
with all the swearing
pacing
and
was
violence.
awful of the film.
Yeah, that one scene where Ryan Reynolds fights in the hardware store.
Yeah.
The choreography and like it was like a Jackie Chan level like cleverness using all the like
all the different
props.
stuff around there.
Other than that,
I mean, it's also like
forgettable.
because there's also like that one long take of that one fight, like right before they go into the hardware store.
In the restaurant.
Yeah, the point where like I'm starting to get to the point where I'm not impressed by long takes anymore.
I know. Yeah, I just talked about Victoria. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
All right. So that's The Hitman's Bodyguard.
Yeah.
Is that the only thing you saw?
I also saw Good Time.
So why don't you talk about Good Time?
All right. Zach, you also saw Good Time.
I did see Good Time. Henry, should people go see Good Time?
Yeah, I really liked Good Time. So,
I decided to see The Persuasion's Good Time for some reason. I don't know why.
I mean, yeah, I think you should see it. So, yeah, you're going to have more to talk about, so go ahead.
Good Time, more like Bad Time. No. This movie was really...
Zach, didn't you write movies? Be more clever with your puns.
No! I want to be the next Gene Shalit.
Bye!
Gene Shalit now. Bye! In spite of me doing 2 bad puns in 2 weeks, Good Time... I'm really conflicted on this film, as I discussed with you last night, because I think it's a very important film, but I don't know how to recommend it to people, because it's like telling somebody to get punched in the face, but telling them at the same time, you need to get punched in the face.
Hey, Zach, punch yourself in the face.
I think why don't we talk about the film, and then we'll be able to kind of explain my position, but I think it's a really good film, and I think Pattinson's great in it. So here's a trailer for Good Time.
Percy, I gotta come clean with you about something.
What?
So I told you about my brother, yeah? I told you about the program he's forced to attend and how he shouldn't be there.
Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Do you understand that?
No. Something happened. I don't know exactly what. My brother's been arrested. He's being held at Rikers Island. You could get killed in there.
Sorry, I just have a client that walked in.
We good?
You get another 10 grand, your brother will get out.
Where are you? How much money can you get right now? Come on, bro.
Oh my gosh.
Are you kidding me? What do you think I'm doing this for? I want to get him out tonight. Don't be confused. It's just gonna make it worse for me.
You ever do time before?
Is your brother okay?
Listen, I want you to come with me. Now, you are going to love it. This place where we are now can be a lot of fun if you let it. You're going to have a good time.
So, Good Time is it's so Robert Pattinson plays this guy named Connie, who with his with his brother Nick.
Are there other characters like named Robbie and Murdery and Extortiony
and Larceny?
Rapey.
There we go.
No,
you're like the Daniel Tosh of our podcast. Like, it gets really, really funny, then you just go like one extra joke to throw everybody off.
I'm pretty sure he's the one who wanted to wear Elizabeth's shoe as a skin suit. So,
what's weird about that?
So,
Elizabeth's shoe is
anyway. Robert Pattinson plays a I guess you'd call him a constant fuck up named Connie, who ropes his mentally handicapped brother, played by the co-director of the film, into robbing a bank through a series of big, like, fucking fuck ups involving, like, the canister of dust or paint that gets blown in your face within a cash robbery, I guess. They get the mentally handicapped brother gets caught, and Connie is short $10,000 for the bail, so the whole movie is about him trying to procure the other $10,000 he needs to get his brother out of jail. So
tell me, Connie's short for something, and it's not just.
It is. I just don't remember it right now. Constantine.
Okay, I was gonna say, unless they're like, he pulls cons and his character's name is Connie, because that's awful.
So the film, like, it's getting a lot of accolades for Pattinson, and rightfully so. Like this. I completely forgot this was Sparkly Vampire Boy, or Cedric Diggory. He was like Joe Pesci if he were sexy. This was like strange and bizarre as a performance as you can get. The film itself is, so I said before, it's a punch in the fucking face, as if you're really trying to like. Because I think it does what Spring Breakers wanted to do but couldn't do because it stunk. In this regard, because like after watching this, I realized that Spring Breakers is pretty terrible. In the regard that, like, I think this is the movie millennials should be watching.
I still have no idea what this movie's about, Zach.
Okay, I'll explain it shorter.
I literally did explain it.
Okay, so it's you took your time.
Okay.
You went into too big of detail. Okay. Basically, the film is about Robert Pattinson and his brother are these two like low level like bank robbers or whatever. They go to rob a bank, and then essentially Robert Pattinson gets away, but his brother doesn't. And so
I just said that.
Okay, wait. Okay, the difference is, Zach, you say it, you'll say, Robert Pattinson, by the way, if he was Joe Pesci, blah, 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 and then blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
And then I lose track of what the movie's about.
That's fair. Okay.
Not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that you're very detailed, and if it's like choose your own adventure, you'd say like Robert Pattinson is, and then you go to the bottom and there's a bunch of different pages, and when I turn on Henry's page, it's like the paragraph chapter. Yours is when you flip it and like, oh, I got to read 10 pages to figure out what this adventure is about.
Boy. No, you're right.
So Robert Pattinson's brother goes to prison, and then so Robert Pattinson wants to bail him out that night. And so he's like, and so the bail bonds guy says, if you get me $10,000, I can get him out tonight. And so it's about that night where he tries to get $10,000.
I can follow. Zach, continue.
Now I kind of lost my train of thought.
Totally
you did derail me. So because I am trying to think like, no, I need to start being more concise. From
I will start doing my stuff, and then if you want to pop in,
so go right ahead. Yeah.
One thing I really liked about it is that in like what he's saying with the whole punch to the face thing, it's just a very unpleasant film to watch. It's like it's a very dark, very dirty kind of film where it's just like. it's one of those things like there isn't one character who you like. It's all a whole bunch of fucked up people, essentially.
I keep on getting distracted because my Twitter feed is on.
I watched that this morning.
Well, like, I mean, I think the closest thing you get to a sympathetic character might be his brother.
Yeah, but he's also...
But even then, the brother's kind of like an asshole, too.
Well, I mean,
which is strange.
Well, I think his brother's also an asshole because Connie is taking advantage of him.
Yeah, that's true. Like, he's kind of being guided down that path.
But I think it's just like, it's one of those films where I'm not going to recommend it because it's not a film that everyone is going to want to see, obviously.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I can't even do that either.
If you see... I mean, I will say I saw the trailer and was not excited for this film.
Is the movie more like the first or the second trailer? 'Cause I feel like the second trailer was trying to make it look better than...
No, because I agree. Because I was not excited for this film when I first saw the trailer. The second trailer I was more excited for. But after watching the film, the first trailer, it really describes it better.
Okay.
It's not a pleasant film. It's more about seeing, like, from point A to point B, essentially. I mean, the film boils down to Robert Pattinson's character really discovering how awful he is. Mm-hmm. And like, his arc is going from thinking he's the savior of his brother to realizing he's the downfall of his brother. And you've watched it for that evolution of his character. It's definitely not for everyone. I will say, it's one of the very, very few films that perfectly nails New York. Because there's a lot of people that, like, you don't need to live in New York long to understand the vibe of New York.
I think a lot of movies romanticize New York.
Exactly.
And when you, I've only been there twice, but when you go there, you go, there's some really nice areas. But I always akin it to good block, bad block. Good block, bad block.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then everyone walks so fast there, and everyone's rude.
Good.
And
the walking, not the rude part.
Well, Brad walks like Sonic the Hedgehog. Brad, where are you going?
I have a purpose. Catch up.
If you bump into him, all of his rings fall out.
Yeah. He's got to make sure he collects them. Or
why am I carrying all these rings?
But it's just like, it's also interesting because I don't think I mean, I could be wrong, but the entire film, I don't think they go into Manhattan at all.
No,
I think
they don't.
All in
They're
Queens.
like, it's all in Queens or like
Spidey stomping grounds.
Yeah,
like they don't. They go nowhere near downtown.
Like the bank robbery might be in like Lower Manhattan.
I'd have to look at the film again to see where they're like playing out. But you know, it's funny actually. Like so like earlier in the summer, we were talking about Baby Driver, and I alluded to how it had a feel of a 30s Warner Brothers gangster film to a degree. This film has a lot of early Scorsese.
Do you want me to tell you a certain time? I have a whiteboard before. Okay.
This film has a little bit of a certain injection of Scorsese in the early 70s.
Well, I mean,
mixed into it.
I disagree. I think
there's a lot of Taxi Driver in this fucking movie.
No, yeah, but I think it's very much more inspired by, like I said when we saw it, I think this film is very clearly inspired by 90s independent cinema.
Maybe in terms of its tone, but its soul is straight up like fucking like Pattinson is.
I would disagree. I mean, I think it's very inspired by Goodfellas more so than Taxi Driver.
If you want to hear two critics pretentious fight about New York, listen to this week's Real Nerds podcast.
I'm the fattest one, so I'm going to be Ebert. You can be Siskel if you want.
Right.
They had a fun relationship. I don't know if they butt fucked behind set, but anyway.
I'm not interested, Zach.
Anyway,
he's told you before, Zach.
No, I'm gonna stick
no
by.
Means no, Zach.
There's a shit ton of Travis Bickle within his character. That,
I can see that. Yeah,
that I'm foreseeing. Now, in terms of what it's saying, though, I do agree with you because there is.
In terms of how it's shot,
because we were discussing this last night, and I've thought about it a lot since then. Is that the films that you saw from the 90s independent movement that we don't really talk about anymore, like a Rumblefish or what have you, that came out in 94, the same year as Clerks. Mm-hmm. This film is what they're emulating. They're not emulating the Tarantinos, Rodriguez's, or the Smiths. They're pushing out towards the people who were actually probably saying something a lot more meaningful in the long run. So I think that...
Like I am.
I think that it ends up being a little bit.
So anyway, that's a good time.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time.
Zach, you're almost as easy to distract as Brad.
I know. I feel. There was a part of me was just like, am I hearing a voice in my head? Why does my voice sound like Ryan in German?
They're trying to be courteous and like not interrupt you.
Yeah.
You still can't like handle talking up like across the room. It's okay. We got to move on.
I'm doing it to be an ass because
no, it's fine.
Zach say. my point.
End of the day, see Good Time if you want something different. It's very different from what is in theaters right now.
If you need a break from the mainstream, go right ahead.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. Yeah, go ahead.
I thought you were done.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like I wouldn't tell.
So Good Time.
I didn't think that you
see it or not, Zach. Should they see it or not?
No, I wasn't. I thought I heard you trying to say something, so I was gonna let you say.
I'm just
something.
trying to move on because I got a great segue. So just
Okay,
say your last piece and I'll do it.
I wouldn't recommend a Twilight fan go see this, but it's definitely a good. It's a good. God damn it! Forget it.
What's your transition?
All right, so we've got 2 for Hitman's Bodyguard. We got 2 for Good Time. Ryan, you're the tiebreaker. What did you see?
This week I saw Annabelle Creation. So the movie this week is going to be
James.
Annabelle Creation. Yeah, if you like really cool, scary movies that are very slowly built and very well made, definitely go see Annabelle. I like movies that are rated R, not for gore, but for terror, and this movie definitely fits that bill. It's in the Conjuring universe, and it tells the story of Annabelle as the most possessed doll or possessed item that the Warrens have. Warren, sorry. And it takes place, they didn't even give a specific time. I'm guessing it's the 1950s.
I thought it looked like the 30s, but okay.
Or maybe 30s. I don't know. Well, no, because they have like a rock and roll song playing at one point.
Never mind.
So, yeah, but I mean, it does look older than that, and it's kind of like they're in rural wherever, like everyday America. But, yeah, everyone should go see it if you like horror films. And if you go see it right now, there's a 10-minute preview for it before it. And it's only the scene where Georgie's boat goes like, in the sewers. And so it's just him and Bill Skarsgård, who plays Pennywise. And there's this really, like, terrifying moment in it where... he's talking and he says, "You like balloons?" and he's talking about the circus, and then Georgie like asks Pennywise a question, and his 2 eyes go like different directions, and he just stands, and the camera holds on him for a while, and there's like this really uncomfortableness with everything, and that's where like the preview ends, and then he kind of comes back. So yeah, if you want to see it, but yeah, go see Annabelle Creation.
It was quiet for all these years. After Samuel and I lost our daughter, we prayed to see our girl again. The contact started small, but then she wanted permission to move into the doll. We soon realized it wasn't our daughter, so we locked it away. We thought helping the girls could be our penance.
This is our new orphanage. Wow, this is as big as a castle.
But we ended up giving it just what it wanted.
You need help?
I can manage. Sister, you always say that even though we can't see God, we can feel His presence. In this house, I feel a different kind of presence. An evil one. It's coming after me. Because I'm the weakest. You help me? What do you need?
Are you okay?
I'm fine. Janice found this doll.
What doll?
The one in the white dress.
She mustn't go near that doll.
She can walk.
Forgive me, sister, for I'm about to sin.
Oh, please, it's not real. It's not real. It's not.
This doll, it's hurting Janice. I'm getting rid of it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's cool.
Yeah, the guy who directed Lights Out for Blumhouse as well, and New Line. Or no, wait, was Lights Out Blumhouse or just New Line?
No, Lights Out is New Line.
Yeah, just New Line.
Yeah.
Anyways, David Sandberg, I think's his name, and he made Lights Out for $3 or $5 million, and it made like $90 million. Same thing with this one. I think it's $5.5 million.
Wow.
He's going to make him tons of money.
The production value of this one looks. I haven't seen it yet, but the trailer alone.
Yeah,
looks
so
$5 million.
I forget his name. He's in So I Married an Axe Murderer. He plays the cop.
Oh, it's been a while.
Anthony.
Anthony Hell? LaPaglia?
Yeah, LaPaglia. There we go.
From Law and Order,
yeah,
I think.
And he plays a doll maker, and him and his wife are really happy, and they have this young daughter. And the opening is just him making dolls, and he's a doll maker, and they go to his church, and they're leaving church, and he's fixing a flat tire on his car, and the bolt comes out, and the daughter runs out to get it, and she gets ran over. But unlike Pet Sematary, where you just like kind of sense it, in this film you see her run out and like it hit her, and it quick cuts really fast, so you see like the impact. So their daughter dies, and 12 years later they open up their house to an orphanage, or I guess not an orphanage, a sister and a father and a bunch of young girls that are orphans, and they're basically housing them, so it's going to be an orphanage. And one of the little girls, Jane, she has recovering from polio.
Oh, okay.
And
Polio is better than the gun, I guess. Janie got a gun. Get it, guys.
So you can't derail me like I can derail you.
I came close.
Nope. And while they're there, obviously a lot of supernatural things happen. No one's really sure about if it's real or not. And what's great about this film is it lets the characters develop a lot. The little girl Jane and her friend, I can't remember her friend's name, that's bad. Anyways, they have this really great relationship, and then slowly the demon starts revealing itself. And what's really cool, it kind of follows the Insidious Conjuring universe kind of thing, where you see the ghosts and the paranormal stuff, but it's actually something different. I don't know if I want to spoil it, but I mean it happens pretty early in the reveal of the paranormal stuff. But as it builds, it's pretty. I mean, I was in audience midday, and there's this old couple behind me, and they were like screaming. I don't think it was that scary, but it definitely has the unpleasantness to it. What I really loved about the direction and the set of shots is, and you can tell this guy's a James Wan like guy, because what James Wan is the master of playing with your expectations going into horror films. A lot of times James will put the camera and put the person in focus like in the bottom right, and so he makes you focus on the background and nothing happens for the first 3 or 4 times, and then slowly something happens in the background. And this movie does that too. There's this really awesome shot pretty early where the little girl goes into the room she's not supposed to go into, and she's like looking out the window and looking around, and you see this white dress like just sit up, and then she like her head goes back in front of it, comes back, and it's gone. So there's little things like that, and I like too that they never really, the doll never really moves in it.
Oh, okay.
The doll. So the doll is basically.
It's not like I've got no strings.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like Chucky.
Yeah.
The doll is just is symbolic for what's happening, and just like the
it's
Conjuring,
a point of attention to fear, I guess you'd call it. Yeah,
exactly. So in the Conjuring universe, it's like a conduit. So they lose their daughter, and so they start asking someone to help them bring her back, and by doing that, it's demons will prey on the soul, and so I guess so. Anyway, so they do that, and a demon actually enters their house, so it's not really a ghost, which makes it a lot cooler. And there's really some horrific things in it, and I love horror films like this. And some of the stuff I was like, I don't like. So somebody dies really gruesomely, and it's as much as just the demon basically looks at him and makes him die, and then later on in the movie the little girls are running from the demon, and the demon doesn't do anything to him. And that's my only issue with the movie. I would have given it 5 stars if it wasn't this little plot point.
Yeah.
So the demon can look at one guy and totally murder him, but the little girls he has to chase around and try to get them.
Yeah.
I mean, is he not that? He can only do that once. There's not really fully explained. So to me, it just seems like that's weak.
Your weakness is children.
But all the actors in it are amazing. Miranda Otto, I think she's in Game of Thrones. Or
Miranda Otto was in Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. Yeah, she plays the mom in it. It's just if you like horror films, it's definitely one of the better horror films this year.
Okay.
I mean,
would you say? Well, obviously better than first Annabelle.
Well, yeah. The reason it's better than the first one is I think I've said it is the director in the first Annabelle is awful.
Yeah.
He directed Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which I think is maybe all I have to say about it.
But if you had to go a little further, maybe it's the fact that he doesn't really know how to make things scary.
Yes, because the story in the first one I actually think is really good, and the ending is pretty shocking. This one, everything works. The setting. The direction, the cinematography, the lighting, because it's not so dark, and there's a great moment where this one girl is being terrorized by the demon in this barn, and he's blowing out each light in the barn, and so she's like running and like trying to keep this one last light, and they keep this beat where she's turning it for a really long time just so everybody can settle down, and then of course it springs on her, but it's really cool. So if you want to see a cool horror film, I definitely think you should see it. And you should probably see it because the It opening is pretty amazing. And judging by what people are saying about it, I can't wait. It's kind of like a new generation Monster Squad is what I'm reading, where the losers are really fun and it's terrifying, Pennywise. So I'm excited to see that one. I think that comes out in 2 weeks.
Yep.
So what do you see next week?
Next week is... There is something I want to see next week. Is what? It's a Film Explosion 2007.
Oh, we're jumping past 97?
Oh, I mean 97. We're doing 97.
Oh, all right.
I looked at that one. I'm like,
you read the wrong cue card, Ryan.
I mean 97.
I feel like we just did a Film Explosion.
We did. You can listen to Film Explosion 1987 from 2 weeks ago. I don't think there is anything this week unless you want to see the new Reese Witherspoon movie.
The only thing coming out that is worth of notice that's coming out that week is the sequel to Goon. But I honestly don't.
I don't think that's coming.
I don't think
anywhere.
it's coming in America.
Yeah,
so.
I don't think there's anything again.
I like Goon. I'd watch a sequel to Goon.
Yeah,
but
no, I mean, I love
Last
Goon, but
Enforcer. Yeah, I'd love to see that.
I think it was only successful in Canada, so they're only producing it really in Canada.
Well, good for them.
You got to make sure James is available for Film Explosion too.
Oh yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, we don't have a choice because absolutely nothing opens next week.
You can see Tulip Fever, whatever the fuck that is,
or Close Encounters of the Third Kind, 40th anniversary.
Retro Film Explosion. We just give news from 1970 something.
It'll be the first time we've called an audible midweek, so
yeah,
we'll see.
So
the plan is 97, but
plan is Film Explosion 97.
Cool.
Yep. See, why don't they just move Home Again like up a week, and then it won't be able to against anything. I don't even know what is Home Again. I don't even know what is that movie.
It's probably some dramatic.
It is because they have three. That's a Reese Witherspoon movie. So they have three movies opening on the 8th. It, Home Again, and the Charlie Sheen 9/11 movie.
It's just called 9/11. It looks amazing.
But we just move one up.
To the east side, the deluxe apartment in the sky.
Until we run Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's Real Nerds for this week.
Moving on.
Bye. Real Nerds Podcast is a Nebulous Visions multimedia production. The Real Nerds would like to thank the Alamo Draft House in Littleton and now open in Sloan's Lake. We also would like to thank Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics, especially Andrew. Our music has been brought to you by Sparks Mandrill and Plan 9 Studios. And of course, thanks to James's mother, our most loyal listener. Have a nice day.